Okay, this is second half an hour. This is the most painful thing I ever went through.
We only have 25 more minutes.
25 more minutes. Oh my gosh, okay.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah. What led your decision to get married at 16?
Part of it was because I thought it was the thing to do because Ma was 16, my sister was 16. And the reason I quit school was because the head is when the astronaut walked on the moon for the first time. What was his name, David? John Glenn. You'd go from classroom to classroom and have to watch this stupid guy walking on the moon. Who cared? I still don't like space. And I just couldn't take it any longer because I'm not a sit-down person. I got to move around once in a while. And so finally one day I said, I'm done. Ma says, ain't you going to school anymore? And all she would have had to say was, I think you should go. And she didn't, so I didn't. And it was a big regret that I've had, but I did, finish school later in life, but I didn't finish with my classmates. But they considered me one of their classmates because we have the class reunion here a lot of times. But that was a big disappointment. I always wished I would have went to the military like I planned, but have the life I have now afterward, which I probably wouldn't have.
Yeah. How many of your siblings went into the military?
Military, let's see, 1, 2, 3. 3 brothers went to the military.
Which ones?
Lenny was in Vietnam. Chris went to Fort Knox, and Orlo went to, I think, Fort Knox too. But we call Orlo Peter.
Oh, okay.
So if I slip up, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay. How many of your siblings are still here today?
There's 7 of us. I lost my 2 oldest brothers, one to cancer and one to Lou Gehrig's disease.
So was that Lenny and Chris?
Yeah.
Okay, did I ever meet Chris? I don't know if I would have.
He's probably my favorite brother. You should have.
Maybe when I was younger. How long ago?
Yeah. Oh, a year ago he died.
Oh, a year ago?
Yeah.
Maybe I did meet him then.
Yeah, you would have been young when you met him.
What did your mom do for a living, or did she?
Mom was a housewife, and then later in life she worked at a Howard Johnson in Houghton Lake cleaning the cabins and stuff.
How did she get to Houghton Lake? Because 30 miles from here.
She drove.
Okay.
Yeah.
Every day she just.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Let's see. What did your parents give you any advice about relationships and marriage?
Nope.
No.
Nothing ever. Never told us anything about relationships, the birds and the bees. Nothing.
How did you learn? Just from experience?
People talking, kids talking and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. What advice would you give me on relationships and marriage? Everything.
Wait until you're married to have sex. The chase is funner than the catch. Kind of like when you're catching a fish. You're all excited. Oh my gosh, I'm going to catch this fish. And your adrenaline's flowing, or shooting a deer. And then after you catch it, it's like, oh, I got it. That's kind of like a relationship. The longer the relationship is, the dating, the funner it is. But, I mean, I didn't want to ever date anybody. I was not a dating person. So I'm very glad I met Grandpa. But your mom wasn't a dating person either, and I don't think Elena is.
No.
So it's just, some like to date, some don't. But the dating is fun because they're wooing you and trying to catch you. So you get gifts, and they take you places, and they take you out to eat. Well, once you get married, it's like, dang, that stopped. Yeah. So wait.
Can you share a funny or heartwarming story from your early years of marriage?
Funny? Let's see. I remember when I had your ma, I was taking a bath. Grandpa was supposed to be making something for dinner, and he had to come in the bathroom with the frying pan and the meat to ask me if he should flip the meat. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh. So he didn't cook because he was a farmer and he was out in the barn all the time as a kid because he was the oldest of 7.
Mm.
I'll never forget that.
And now, how old was he when you guys got married?
18.
18. Can you share some memories from your wedding day? Like, how was it? Where'd you go? And did you get
The
married?
wedding day, I had moved out and was living with my sister down in Belding. And I
Oh.
worked at the hospital down there. And Ma planned the whole marriage. I wanted it to be a red wedding because we got married December 9th. And when I came up, she had picked who was going to be in the wedding, and they were wearing pink and blue.
Oh.
And I had red flowers. And we were very shy back then. And I remember we were at the hall, and I wore my mother-in-law's wedding dress. And that dress now is, I still got it, let's see, 52, about 80 years old.
Wow.
And I spilled scalloped potatoes all over my dress.
Oh, gosh.
And I was embarrassed, so I changed my clothes. And I wished I wouldn't have, because that was my wedding dress. I mean, they would have understood.
Yeah.
But back then, people opened, you either opened or people opened, helped you open the gift so everybody could see what you got.
Mm.
And that was nice.
Yeah.
But
That'd be nice if they did that more nowadays.
Yeah. we got married in the Catholic Church, and yeah, it was nice wedding.
Did you and Grandpa have to pay for it, or did your parents pay for it?
No, we didn't pay for it. His mom and dad, I think they gave him the money for the beer. And because they're such good cooks in our family, the food was all homemade, which my kids, the 4 kids we had, the food was all homemade. It's none of this go out to Gordon Food and buy a gallon of tater salad nowadays. Yeah.
How many people were at your wedding?
Oh, how many people? How many you think was there, David? 100, 150? Yeah.
Nice. So that was a lot of cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it hard, like, raising kids when you were so young? Or
Oh, heck no.
no, you liked it.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked being pregnant. I liked having kids.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't hard because we raised them. I mean, back then, still, we didn't go out a lot. We were family people, stayed home, went to church on Sunday, visited other people who had kids. We didn't have to entertain the kids.
Yeah.
And I remember one time when they were older, we went out to eat, and they were fighting over who was going to sit inside and who was going to sit outside in a booth. And my kids remember this. And I said to we sat in one and they sat in the one behind us. And I said to the waitress, I'm sorry, but we'll have to leave because our kids aren't behaving. And so she went and picked up the menus, and we went home, and it was the quietest ride home. When we got there, we got peanut butter and jelly out, and that's what we had. I said, when you can behave in a restaurant, we'll go back. But until then, we will just get up and leave. And that was the best lesson I taught my kids, or our kids.
Did they ever horse around after that? At
No,
restaurants?
they didn't horse around.
That's funny. How often did you guys go out to eat?
Once a month back then.
Nice.
Yeah.
So did you stay at home and stuff when my mom and her
Yeah, I was
siblings were young?
stayed-at-home mom until the youngest, David, went to school, and then I got a job at the local place down the road. I was a stripper. I was a stripper to vein stripping because it was a arrow place, boning arrow company. So we had to strip the veins off the rubber. But I always told everybody I was a stripper.
veins off of the rubber.
Yeah, you had to put your fingers between and pull it off. Then they'd ship them out, and people would glue you would call them feathers.
Uh-huh.
That's what they were like. Glue it on the shaft.
Of like arrows or what it?
Yeah.
Of what? Yeah, the arrows. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was my first. Well, I pruned trees too, once the kids, a little bit in the summer too. And the babysitter would take my car home with her, and then come back the next day, so we didn't have to get the kids up. And I figured out she was making $10 more than me, so I quit, because why work when you're not making money? But mostly I just needed, to get out with some other people than the kids.
Shoot, so you were paying her $10 more than you were making?
Yeah,
Oh, so
that happens a lot.
Yeah. Huh. So how much did you pay her an hour? How much did babysitters
Oh, back
get?
then, 50 cents or 75 cents
Wow.
an hour.
Yeah. That's crazy.
We didn't make a whole lot of money back
Yeah.
then. We only made like $1.50, $1.75 an
So
hour.
you'd make like that much, and then you'd pay her like 50 cents.
Yeah.
Or something? Oh, okay.
Well, then when they take the tax out of your money, and you got to fill the gas tank for her, and yeah.
Yeah. That's
But I got out, which was nice.
yeah. What values did you prioritize when you were raising your kids?
What values? Don't lie. That's my big one. Do not lie. If you lie, your punishment will be twice as bad. If you tell the truth, you probably won't get much for a punishment. So don't lie.
Yeah.
Don't steal. Go to church every Sunday or Saturday night. Treat people how you want to be treated. What are some of my other values, David?
Sit in the boat and float.
Yeah, sit in the boat and float. And another one is you sit there and float, and someday,
The others will sink themselves. Is that
no, God will let you laugh at what happened, but you gotta wait.
How does because my mom always says sit in the boat and float and let everyone else sink themselves or something like that. Is that always what you say too, or you just say sit in the boat and float?
Sit in the boat and float.
Okay.
Like buying a house, it wasn't the house we wanted, then there was something bigger and better out there that was
Yeah.
coming along.
Yeah.
That's another one I always say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I always felt when I like buying a car. If it didn't work out, don't
Yeah.
look for it. It'll come.
Same thing with the house. I was so disappointed when we didn't get the house down the road, and said something else will come along, and then this one came along, and this one's perfect.
Yeah.
hmm
Can you describe Lake City and what it means to you?
Lake City,
Yeah. Just like what does it mean?
small. I'm not a townie. I'm from the country.
So the people who lived in Lake City, like when you were a kid, they were called townies, but
Yeah,
it's still like
they're
just a
still
small...
townies. You'd go to in sports, mostly the townies would get, on the basketball team, football team. They would be the captains, and
Is it because they lived closer, or
they were
just...
I don't know. I never understood that they were so popular and stuff. But you look at their houses now, as I'm older and stuff. Their houses weren't that nice. Not at all.
Interesting.
I don't know, but they still do that. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. What are some changes you've witnessed within like the city and like just the community dynamics and stuff since you were a kid until now? And stuff. Anything in
Oh,
particular?
let's see. The dynamics. Well, nowadays we have a mayor that wants to change everything and tear down some of the buildings, historical buildings and stuff, and put up apartments or rental places in small Lake City. You will lose the charm of the small town.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not in anything to do with the city council, so I don't have to worry about it. But they're holding their ground on putting him in his place.
Yeah.
He lived here when he was a kid. Nobody liked him in school because he was a yuppie. And then he moved away and worked at Amway in Grand Rapids. Then he moved back and wants to change the whole town now that he hasn't been in years to his liking.
Yeah.
And people don't want to change.
But they all elected him? Did they not realize?
Well, town did, but
Mm.
everybody else didn't. But he's still not liked. I mean, it's surprising. You talk to people and they said he was quite an asshole back then, and he still is. I get along with him. I mean, he's better to me now than when I was in school.
Yeah. Can you share like a fond memory of a community, like community events and stuff that you've went to?
When I was a kid, we had square dances every Saturday night, and that was so much fun watching everybody square dance and polkas, and all the kids were there too. It was just a great big gathering, and sometimes we would have box socials. I wish they would do this. I mean, everybody would decorate a box and put food in it. I always had fried chicken, a napkin, potato salad, stuff like that. They were beautiful, and then you take it to the hall, and they would auction it off, and whoever bought it, that's who you had to eat with for the night. And the old men would just say, oh, how wonderful it was and everything, and you're dying because you're sitting there with some old man eating dinner. That was fun.
That would be fun.
I just wish they'd go back to some of this old stuff again. But they don't. I mean, everybody nowadays, all they do is use their cell phones.
Yeah.
Stupid.
I think that would be fun to do something like that because I like talking to people and stuff, like at the golf course and stuff. I talked to, I was there today and I was talking to some of the old men there. And
Yeah.
I just think that would be fun. It's just,
Yeah. It'd be fun in the family too. We got so many people.
Yeah, we should
You know,
do that.
have the boys buy the box, and so what if it's somebody else's boyfriend or somebody else's husband?
Yeah.
I mean, the house is big enough, we could split up
We
and they
should.
have to talk. Maybe we'll have to do that.
Yeah, like how we used to do the mystery dinners.
Yeah,
We should do that.
that would be fun.
Yeah.
Yep. I wanted to do the mystery dinners, but I couldn't with the exchange students because they didn't know what some of the puns, like Bugsy's favorite food.
Yeah.
They don't know who Bugsy is,
Can
so
you
that wouldn't work.
explain a little bit what it is? Just like the mystery dinner.
Oh, the mystery dinner. You have items. You might have. You can order it. It comes with no silverware
Or you have
or
to
plate.
order
You have to order it.
like a pitchfork.
Yeah. If you want, like, say you're gonna have meatballs, they'll say, "Well, where's my silverware?" And you say, "Oh, did you order it?" But that would be like the devil's fork. Would be
Yeah.
pitchfork. If you want barbells, that would be 2
Marshmallow.
marshmallows on a toothpick.
Brady cat and chicken.
Yeah, Frady cat, chicken, yeah. Just different things, and you'd come up and they'd order it, and people would take it in. They can't talk to each other about who ordered what because they had to order it. So the whole meal was a mystery of what they were going to eat.
Yeah.
And that was fun.
Yeah.
I've done that a few times
We
with
should do
adults
that
too.
again. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
MJ would understand. I feel like she.
Well, I
we did it-
can't do it this year,
No, I
but
know.
maybe next year we
Yeah.
could do it or something instead of the pizza bake-off and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's a lot of work.
Mhm.
Because there's so many people that you gotta have a lot to
We could
serve the
always
food.
like do it, and then you would just don't tell them what it is.
Yeah.
You know, like just
Yeah.
everybody can make the food and or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
We'll get creative.
Mhm. Let's see. What do you love most about your current home?
My current home,
Mhm.
I'm in the country. I love it because it's big.
Mm.
I have my small farm. I can sit out on the lean-to on the garage.
Mhm.
Um,
How old were you when you guys moved here?
we've lived here 35 years.
Yeah, when my mom was in high school.
Yeah, she was in 9th grade because we were 20 miles out of town, and I wanted to make sure the kids could get here for band and football games, and I had a couple cheerleaders. I wanted them to do as much as they could in school. So being 2 miles, well, a mile from town, they could,
Why did you want your kids to do band?
because I love music.
Didn't my mom do choir?
She did choir because she can sing.
Yeah.
She was too dumb.
She's a very, very good soprano. No, that wasn't it.
I want to say, because I don't think it caught what he said, but he said my mom was too dumb to play an instrument.
It was so stupid.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I just want them to, do as much as they possibly can. That's why I love the fine arts of plays and Broadway plays, and I love music, like band music.
Do you want to go into detail a little bit more about exchange students and stuff, and because you're a coordinator and everything?
I was a
Or
coordinator
you were.
for exchange students. I don't know how many I placed, but I did it about 30 years. We have hosted 32 exchange students. This is the first year I'm not going to get any. I just feel we need a break. We're 67, 69, so it's time to enjoy each other. And, it wasn't easy having exchange students because we can just eat whatever we want. I mean, we like chicken gizzards, we like oysters. They wouldn't. So we couldn't eat it. If they would go someplace, then we would have that kind of food. But I crammed as much as I could on them to learn.
Yeah.
It's all about learning, is how I feel.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was very rewarding having exchange students.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we've had 25. I think Juliet will be our 26th.
crazy, yeah.
So yeah.
It just comes a time when it's time to stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
hmm
I feel like since I've grown up, it's a lot easier, like with having exchange students and stuff. I like having them, like right now it's like perfect because MJ is 18 and I'm 19, and just it's really nice being a teenager and having teenagers there too.
Oh yeah, they
It's
get
just
jealous too, of other siblings in the house and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
I feel like we've lucked out though. Like ours have always had other siblings. Like we've always chosen ones with other siblings and stuff, and it's been nice because like we get along pretty well.
Yeah, yep. I'm still on the school boards, so I still do that. Lake City School Board and Wexford Missaukee Intermediate School Board District. I really enjoy being on the school boards.
How long have you been on there for?
6 years on the ISD and 7 or 8 years on Lake City School Board.
And then so you were a paraprofessional for how long?
31 years,
Oh, when did you retire?
2010.
Okay.
I worked with juvenile delinquents, emotionally impaired kids. Those were my favorite. Because you could tell a joke and they would get it. It wasn't easy. I didn't care for the takedowns when we'd have to take them down. But they had respect for me. They never spit on me like they did other people. They always never, I don't know why. They liked me. And then I went to severely mentally impaired. And I liked it. I could make jokes and some of the kids could get it. It really wasn't, no, it wasn't severely, it was moderately. Or we used to call it trainable mentally impaired. And I still take one boy every Wednesday. He hangs out with me. I call him a boy, but he's going to be 40 this summer. And he does what I do. Today we chased Mama Lamb and the babies. Remember? That's the hand. And Andy watched and laughed at us. And
Does he still say big truck?
yeah, big trucks. He loves big trucks. I remember one time I said, "Holy cow, did that scare me?" And he goes, "Scared me." And it was so weird because he really can't talk. So that was quite surprising.
What's
But he loves to laugh, and I make him laugh.
What's the thing you taught him recently? There was a phrase that
What did I?
remember? It was
What's it?
like "holy cow" or was it or something like that? Or
Yeah, what is it that I?
Grandpa, do you remember what she taught him?
Holy crow.
Holy crow was
Holy crow.
it? Yeah.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
teach him different things like
Uh-huh.
that. His mom, she knows I'm a redneck.
Yeah.
But and she's not far from me, but I just different kind of redneck.
Yeah. And then you guys
Yeah.
helped out, and didn't somebody have like a home for people? with
Oh, Ma
special
had a
needs?
rest home.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Ypsilanti closed their facility down there, Ma took in her sister who was mentally retarded. She had a high fever when she was 4, and it kind of fried her brain. And she also took in her brother who had been in prison and the mental institution because when my grandma died, they were young. They had 10 kids, and these were very young kids. He was a mute, so when he would go in a bar and get drunk, he would start a fight, so they didn't know what to do with people back then, so they put him in a mental institution. He was perfectly fine
Could he
when he
talk?
lived there. He couldn't talk because he was a mute.
But, but was he always like that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They used to call him deaf and dumb.
He was deaf and
Oh yeah, deaf,
Oh.
yeah. But my mom knew some sign language, and he was just a really nice guy. And Beatrice, the aunt, she had the mind of about a 8-year-old. She played with dolls, loved cleaning the toy box out, loved having the little kids around. She was good. She was scary at first because we wasn't used to it. I remember waking up and she was in my room and I just about peed my bed. Gosh, dang, that scared me.
So you guys would take over sometimes and just like.
Yeah, and then one time Ma needed a break, so we moved into her house and took care of her home. She had 6 clients then, and she moved into ours.
With all your kids, right?
With what?
With all your children.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
moved in with our 4 kids. We were only 4 miles apart, but it gave Ma a break.
Yeah.
And I just always liked special ed. I was the kind that when we were in school, I took the underdogs. And my kids did too. I remember Heather took clothes to school out of her closet one time because this girl didn't have nice clothes, so Heather cleaned her closet and took them into her and gave her stuff. And that's kind of like how my kids are and how I raised them and how I was raised. And there was a time that, because we were raised on Goodwill clothes, we called back then rummage sale, we called it R&S, so nobody knew. I remember taking clothes over to the Goodwill one time, and I'm talking to the kids. I had a van. I pulled in, I looked back, and I couldn't see one kid in there. I go, what are you guys doing? We're hiding. We don't want anybody to know we go to these places. And I said, get out, and everybody goes in the store and buys an outfit. And they did. They bought an outfit, and now they live in the Goodwills. If one kid needs something for their kid, like if Johanna needs something, then Heather will go looking at Goodwill and give it to her. And same thing, Leona does same thing. I mean, what they find. And I mean, when they went to college down in Big Rapids, that's where they got their stuff.
That's where I go.
Yeah.
Thrift stores.
So yeah, it's there's nothing wrong with secondhand stuff.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Can you tell the duct tape story really quick from the home? The guy
Oh
who duct
gosh. When we were in the home, I made wine, and I was getting ready to siphon the wine into the bottles, and I couldn't find my hose. And we looked and we looked and we looked, and finally we found it upstairs in a bedroom, in a male person's bedroom. And I looked, and it was probably 3 inches of crap was caked in it. He had used it to put it up his butt. And so I had to deal with that. Then I find out, the same day, he took duct tape and wrapped his whole body in duct tape. Like, he looked like he was a prisoner. It's like, okay, now this has got to come off. And he was quite hairy. So it had to have been pretty painful to get that duct tape off. But it's like, oh my gosh. And as far as the hose, I cut the piece off that had went up his butt because I had to siphon it with my mouth. It was just nasty. But,
I didn't know about that part.
Yeah.
I just knew about the duct
you know,
tape.
he was mentally retarded, and
Mhm.
there's just something you had to deal with. There's many stories when it comes to
The home.
the home. Yeah, I mean, we had one that would. Somebody said this person was completely normal, and David said to him, "Then why is she out there eating with the dogs on her hands and knees right now?" Because they were outside dogs. It's like they're there for a reason.
Mhm.
Yep.
Is there anything else you want to share?
Let's see. Things I want to share. I had a brother who was gay, and it doesn't matter. I taught my kids that gays don't hurt you. And it's not something you can catch. It's something you're born with that they can't do anything about it. It's a chemical imbalance. And we had lots of gays come here for weddings and spend the night, and we didn't think nothing of it. And I would tell them, as long as she don't hit on me, I don't care if she stays here. And we just got, we have friends who are gay. It's not a big deal. So I guess that's it. This has been one painful interview. Holy
Thank
cow.
you.
Yep.